Yung NBI wala raw negative na. Kasi kung nahuli yan, nasa airport na yun.
Kung ako dito kay Senator Bato de la Rosa, hindi ako magpapahuli dahil isa sa mga sasaya itong si Ping Lacson kung sakaling mapadala siya sa The Hague, Netherlands. Kasi ganito ho yan mga kababayan. Bakit alam ni Ping Lacson na kung sakaling mahuli itong si Senator Bato de la Rosa, diretso siyang airport? Ang tanong ho sa kanya ng ating mga kababayan sa social media, kasama ka ba Senator Ping Lacson sa pagpaplano laban dito kay Senator Bato? Siyang like at siyang subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community, yung join button, nandyan lang ho sa baba. Ayun na nga, marami ho tayong mga nabasang komento sa mundo ng social media na kung saan kino-call out itong si Senator Ping Lacson. Yung tipong colleague niya sa Senado, ang dating ho, parang sa bagay, no? Wag na ho kayo magtaka, anak ng toka, di ba? Jingo Estrada nga, Rodante Marcoleta nga, hindi nga ano yun eh. Ika nga, ang dating sa kanya, masaya pa siya nung nakulong yung mga kasama niya. Ano ba naman yung mapadala sa The Hague, Netherlands itong si Senator Bato de la Rosa? Eto, pakinggan ho natin ang ambush interview ng GMA News dito kay Ping Lacson. Game. Wag na ho kayong magalit ha. Yan ang pinakayo kung nangyayari sa mga kasama natin dito sa PH. Nagagalit no sa mga napapanood na babasa nila sa mundo ng social media. Wag na ho kayong magalit, wag na magalit.
Senator Ping, nakakas daw si Senator Bato. Sabi ng mga court officer. NBI negative. Yung police po. Wala pang feedback sa kayong process.
Close ho sila ni Melvin Matibag kaya yon ang una niyang chinek eh. NBI negative.
Asking pero negative siya. Yung NBI wala raw negative na. Kasi kung nahuli yan, nasa airport na yun.
Senator Bato de la Rosa ha, nagbigay na ng clue itong si Ping Lacson, huwag ka magpapahuli, nako. Diba? Nakangiti pa siya nung sinabi niyang nasa airport na yun. So maging ang ating mga sitting senator, di na ho sila naniniwala sa due process. Basta pag nahuli, diretsong The Hague, Netherlands na. Wala nang sagutan pa sa mga ano natin dito, sa mga korte natin. So pwede na natin sabihin yung mga korte natin dito sa Pilipinas, walang kwenta, gano'n. Sa bagay, wala nga palang kinakaharap na kaso si Senator Bato sa Pilipinas. Hindi ho nila pwedeng hulihin tapos ikulong nang wala siyang kasong kinahaharap. Kaya ang pinaka ika nga mabilis na paraan para mawala sa problema o mawala sa equation itong si Senator Bato dito sa administration na ito, ang pinaka mabilis pagpapadala sa kanya sa The Hague, Netherlands. Magaling talaga to si Ping. Siguro ito yung parang group effort na tinutukoy ni John Vic Remulla noong pinadala sa The Hague, Netherlands ito si dating Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte. Isa ka ba sa mga trumabaho noon, Ping? Sabay tawa na lang ito, wait natin.
Yung NBI wala raw negative na. Kasi kung nahuli yan, nasa airport na yun.
Di po nga, sa bagay, wag na tayong magsalita ng kung ano pa mag-Senator Ping Lacson kasi kahit kayo mga kababayan, nag-aan na lang ho kayo parang dating nagkakasala na lang tayo sa pagmumura o pag-iisip ng hindi maganda. Kahit sa utak lang, wag na ho natin gawin yan. No? Hindi maganda. Basta ito, alam na natin kung anong nangyayari sa ating bansa. Yung mga individual na kagaya nitong si Senator Ping Lacson, ipagdasal na lang ho natin. Diba? Yun lang naman ho magagawa natin dito, pagdarasal. Dahil ngayong mga panahon na to, pinamumunuan ho tayo ng mga masasamang elemento. Wag na ho kayo mag-isip ng kung ano pa mga masasamang bagay, no? O wag nyo murahin o kung ano pa man. Hindi naman ho makakarating sa kanya, hindi naman naabot sa kanya yan. Basta kung meron kayong disgusto, ilabas nyo na lang sa mga magagandang pananalita. Di ba? Hindi mo kailangan magmura o kung ano pa man. Rekta ho tayo kay Atty. Israeli Totoo yun. Game.
Po sa lahat ng mga nanonood nitong sikat masyado na program. Good morning.
Talaga naman po.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salamat po sa pagpunta nyo ngayong umaga. Alam ko maulan. Medyo mahirap. Umabot kayo.
Opo. Medyo traffic pa. Pero okay, nandito pa rin.
Sabihan mo na po natin, kumusta po ang inyong office ni Atty. Jimmy Bondok? Nakasama din namin dito sa Bilyonaryo.
By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, medyo okay naman yung pag-take off namin. At yung happiness lang namin, nakakasweldo naman po kasi sa aming mga empleyado.
Yun ang importante.
Nakakasweldo at meron ding pambili ng tuyo at saka bigas. Happy na kami doon.
Mas nagdag naman siguro ng konti.
Dagdag ng konti naman. Opo. Makakabili ng make-up para sa aming magagandang misis.
Pero tingin ko curious ang madaming tao kasi siyempre kilala ng madaming tao yung mga medyo high profile cases na hinahandle nyo. Pero ano pa yung ibang practice areas na inyong inaasikaso?
Well, in Davao and to some degree also here in Manila, litigation lawyer talaga ako. Litigation lawyer, so criminal cases, civil cases, may mga Maguindanao Massacre, I also handled it. Yung mga more or less yung MOA-AD na kaso, nung ibigay sana doon yung porsyon ng Mindanao. So, sa amin ngayon dito sa Manila, traditional na mga kaso po, mga criminal cases. Meron din kami estafa, meron din kami what to call this. Mamaya hapon magka-cross-examination ako.
Sabi nga meron kayong kaso.
Kasi tutulungan ko si General Pokis doon sa kaso niya na file against him no inciting to sedition.
Okay.
So supposedly may presentation of a witness this afternoon. So I was also studying a bit the criminal information as well as the accompanying affidavit complaints that are in the carpeta of the case so that I can also properly and intelligently cross-examine the witness.
Okay, siyempre. Pero ito, isa sa mga pinaka-high profile at sikat yung kliyente, siyempre si Senator Bato de la Rosa. So, didiretsahin ko na kayo.
Yes, yes,
Atty.
yes,
Robert,
yes.
mula kagabi, kumakala sa social media, kung ano-anong chismis na siya daw ay nahuli na, papalipad na daw as we speak on the way to The Hague. Totoo ba to? May katotohanan ba dito?
Well, I hope and pray na hindi
Hindi nun na talagang, kumbaga talagang isinabuhay na ho nila yung pagiging kidnapper nila, di ba? Wala nang immigration. Anak na to. Wala nang immigration. Pagkahuli, wala nang maraming sabi-sabi. Lagyan na ng gasolina yung aeroplano, lipad na si Senator Bato. Ganon! Pambihira.
I can only say that simply because of the fact that my client did not call me.
Okay.
Siguro kung nangyari yun, na nadakip talaga siya, hanap ng paraan yan na magtawag sa akin. Siyempre, oo. So that we can also avail of proper legal remedies, no, para naman maprotektahan siya. So, at saka yung mga law enforcement personnel, sigurado ako, they will also call me to inform me kasi the accused, if we can properly characterize him as an accused, sa akin kasi hindi.
Wala yung pending na petition na
Yes,
yun na
under
Supreme
report,
Court,
no? Is entitled under Republic Act 7483 na entitled to counsel at any stage of the proceedings, even during arrest, prior to arrest, and while his case is processed by the appropriate court.
So, wala po kayong nakuha tawag since kagabi? So, kailan kayo huling nagkausap ni Senator Bato?
Nung May 11 ba yun? Yung the mga 2 hours before he left the Senate halls. Nalaman ko wala na pala talaga siya, mga lunchtime na confirm ko wala na pala talaga siya. Or yung nag-declare na si former Senate President, or still former Senate President Cayetano, na wala na siya doon.
So, ito po, almost 3 months ago.
Yes. Wala na talaga kaming communication. I communicate through his staff.
Nakano kasi yan eh. Ika nga, bag na yung mga ano nila na yan. Mga cellphone, itong mga ano to. Social authority. Lahat ng posibleng i-chat, kausapin ni Senator Bato de la Rosa. Ano na ho yan, kumbaga, nakatimbre na kung ano man ang text message, especially phone call, no. Unless lang siguro gumamit ng burner phone yung pagkatapos ginamit yung mga tatapon na siya, no. Siguro kung ganoon, pwede mabilisan tapos tapon na kagad. Pero matatriangulate kasi yun eh. Kayang kumbaga yung pinakahuling lokasyon kung saan ginawa ni Senator Bato de la Rosa yung tawag at kung sino yung tinawagan, malamang sa malamang malalaman. Lahat to, para ho tayong nasa Marcelo dito, wala akong pagka merong mga keyword o salitang mga ginamit mo diyan, baka ano ka na diyan, under surveillance ka na sa mga addict sa Malacanang, di ba?
Through members of his family. So kung nadakip siya, I'm very sure, may mga maawa naman siguro sa atin ng mga law enforcement personnel at tatawagan ako. Wala namang tawag po.
At tingin ko kasi po nagsimula nito yung post ng kanyang partner, si Atty. Jimmy Bondok.
Kaya nga kay Senator Jimmy Bondok, maging ako nawindang.
Meron daw bad news na padating.
Hindi, before that, meron na. Marami na masyado na mga...
Yung kay Atty. Jimmy, may idea ba kayo kung ano yung kanyang
Nagkausap
tinutukoy
kami,
dito?
iba yung ginamin niya. Kaya nga,
Okay.
tinake out niya na yun.
Okay.
Nagka-timing.
Okay.
So, take out na niya yung kanyang post kasi nga it gave multifarious interpretations. And,
Kasi yun ang tinuturo ng madami on social media.
in fairness to Jimmy, marami ng mga post even before that. May mga text messages na akong natatanggap. May tumawag pa na confirmed na nadakip siya. Kung nadakip yun, tatawag yung kaagad sa akin. Pero wala eh. So relax lang ako. This is not the first time I'm handling cases like this. So minsan, I'm not saying na sinadya ito, scenarios like that are played out so that you would contact right away your client at saka mag-ping, wala na. Yung mga ganun.
Okay.
Nalulocate na siya ng kaputsa. So, hindi natin
marketing yun eh.
yun. That happened also sa KOJC siege. Yung mga ganun nadakip na siya. Anong nadakip? Wala nga akong contact eh. They would assume kasi na yung lawyers may alam. Hindi nila alam na it is our policy not to know. Kasi it's better for you not to know. Kasi like, guys, if you're interviewed like highly intelligent guys like Attorney Barry, baka masabi mo yung totoo, patay ka. Di ba? So, yun talaga ang policy ko. Do not inform me. Do not inform me.
In fairness, magaling hong parehas yan. Si Barry Gutierrez at saka hindi lang magaling sa kampanya si Barry. Naka-answer niya eh. Diba? Doon lang siya sumablay pero pagdating sa pagiging abogado, mahusay naman ho talaga yan. Mahusay naman daw ho talaga yan di umano. Sabi niya. Hindi, ayaw pa maniwala PH. Hindi, sabi lang yun. Pero yung mga nagsasabi naman, magaling naman daw ho talaga. Ano natin, magaling na bigay nyo na kay Barry Gutierrez.
So that I can perform my job properly.
Ano yan, legal counsel nitong si Lenny Robredo?
Plausible deniability.
Yun. Wala akong alam. Kasi dapat din, ikaw, you have to protect yourself as a lawyer. So as a lawyer, ayoko rin madisbar, busing. Mga anak ko, buntis pa si misis ko. Yun din, protektahan din natin.
Yes. Pero are you at liberty to say kung ano yung tinutukoy ni Atty. Jimmy kung hindi pala yung kahapon? Kasi tingin ko
iba na scenario yon. Pero it's for him to kasi ang sabi lang kami, partner kami. Iba yung sinabi, iba yung minin ko, yung una, pero iba ata ang interpretation mo. Pero in fairness, prior to that, ang dami na what's it called, dami nang tumawag sa akin. So yun po.
Siguro desperate move
as of
din.
now, wala po kayong any confirmation na totoo itong nangyaring to?
I think it's not true. I'm praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it is not true because it will really complicate things if it is true. Because if it is true, then our remedies would no longer be here. Although, of course, we can still technically argue that there are Supreme Court decisions which states that the court retains residual jurisdiction, etc., or it can still act on the matter, pero mahirap na kasi kung nandun na siya. How can we implement it? Enforcement would be the problem of whatever orders that may be issued by the Supreme Court. In the final analysis, it would be diplomacy. It would be, mga pakiusap na lang ang mangyayari sa amin. Unlike kung nandito pa siya, well, enforceable pa yung orders ng Supreme Court or other courts for that matter.
On that point po, Attorney Bobby, meron po kayong final doon po sa pagkaka-aresto kay dating Pangulong Duterte.
Yes,
di ba?
yes, yes,
Ano
yes,
pong status ng kasong yun?
It's pending. It's pending
So,
now.
hindi pa siya dismissed?
Hindi
Wala
siya
pang
dismissed.
action?
What was acted upon was our prayer for TRO when the other respond. Dalawa yung kliyente namin doon, si PRRD, si Tatay Digong, at saka si Senator Bato. Actually, ang petisyon na yon was designed for Senator Bato sana. Kasi yung umuugong nun, si Senator
Siya yung
Bato.
huli.
Oo. Pero nandun sa Hong Kong na ako, well, I was requested to include PRRD at the last minute. So, nung dumating ako dito, I had to, yung opisina ko noon sa Davao pa I had to tweak the petition, change page 1 and page 2 as well as the last.
Para nakaka-relate po ako sa mga ganyan.
Ang dami mong dadali doon. Tapos ikakarga mo pa sa, what you call this, sa aeroplano. Magpapirma ka pa ng verification. Noon nahirapan ako. Kasi hindi kami pinapasok doon sa airport, hindi kami pinapasok doon sa, wala ka ng time to change the petition. Have it, what you call this, photocopied, 18 copies at that. Ang kapal-kapal. Hindi naman po pwede na sasabihan mo yung Korte Suprema, 2 pages, 3 pages. Si Torreon daw ako. Baka i-dismiss, nakakaya. So, kailangan maganda at saka meaty yung petition mo. Kaya yun ang nangyari.
So, ngayon, hinihintay po nyo doon the full ruling?
Yes,
of
the full
court?
ruling of the Supreme Court. And I just received an order yesterday also requiring the Solicitor General to file a comment also to which will expire on August 10, which is malapit na, August 5 na ngayon.
August 10 is next Monday.
Yes,
Monday.
yes.
So, kailangan nila mag-comment on something na
Yes. Oo. Yung kahapon ko lang nabasa.
Nag-request pa po kayo ng oral arguments para dito sa kasong ito?
That is actually discretionary on the part of the Supreme Court. With all honesty, I don't think they will order that kasi yung mga naman issues, wala namang factual Wala namang factual issues, wala namang everything is legal which they can decide right away. Yun po.
Okay. So, pero ano po ini-expect nyo doon?
I'm hoping that we'll win.
Kasi if you do, ano yung magiging remedy considering that the former president is already in the custody ng ICC?
Well, there is still, itong
Sige.
The Supreme Court, certiorari kasi yan under the expanded concept under Article 8, Paragraph 1, which it can still order the executive department to do anything legal in order to enforce the order of the Supreme Court. Perhaps it can require the executive department to do all possible na ma-assert niya na parang mag-file ng manifestation doon sa ICC na dapat pala kasi hindi na kami miyembro ng Rome Statute, dapat pala hindi na kami nag-cooperate, so mag-manifest kami na baka pwede ipadala niyo dito sa amin balik. Yung mga ganun na manifest. Of course, it's not binding on the ICC kasi naka-acquire na sila ng jurisdiction But we're hoping and praying na with the Trump pressure now, lahat baka mag-give in sila. Yun lang po. Nobody, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can predict all things.
So, in the event po na ganun din ang mangyari kay Senator Bato, ganun din yung aasahan nyo?
Yes. Etong kay Senator Bato, mas marami pa kaming probability dito. Kasi nga, nandito pa siya sa Pilipinas. I would like to believe na nandito pa siya sa Pilipinas. Kasi last discussions namin, na nasabihan niya ako, former PNP chief yan, matalino yan. Mas mahirap daw kung aalis kasi may mga information merchants, may mga, what you call this, yun ang sinabi sa kanya.
I-disclose.
I-disclose. Ang term, information merchants.
Napaka-polite na term.
Oo nga. So, mas mahirap yun. Tsaka, yung other countries kasi, they also have higher intelligence mechanisms and systems by which they can actually track any and all visitors. And such are, can never be prevented to be transmitted here in the Philippines. So mas mataas ata ang kadelikado kung aalis ka sa bansa. Of course, exception yan. Former Senator, si Senator Lacson, nakaalis siya noon di ba? Nakaalis siya. Bumalik lang siya sa Pilipinas nung wala na siyang warrant. It's very convenient on his part during that time.
So, based on that conversation, as far as you know, and again, I don't
As far as I know.
want to put you on the spot.
Yes.
Since nag-usap kayo nung May 11,
May 11,
si Senator Bato has been in the Philippines. Hindi siya umalis.
I think so. Yun, believe ko lang yan. Believe ko lang yan. Pero I cannot state with certainty that he is here. Yes, sir.
So, given na mukhang meron ng warrant nga, of course, na-serve na yung kay former President Duterte, at mukhang ito active warrant against si Senator Bato issued by the ICC, may mga ibang pangalang, mga napalutang na rin dyan diba? Si former...
The Secretary General, kaibigan ko rin. May former General
DOJ Secretary Aguirre, diba? Si Senator Bongo. Meron ba kayong coordination with any of them? Have they expressed concerns na baka they have to go through the same thing?
Wala kaming coordination na nag-meeting kami, na nag-Zoom meeting kami. Wala
Pero just to consult you, kasi obviously, alam na nyo yung process. You've already handled yung phase 2.
Honestly, kasi ako, bawal magsinungaling sa amin honestly, I may have talked to 2 of them several months ago as to probable remedies. I gave my own advice. I know they have their own lawyers. Pero after that, wala kaming communication na. Yung dalawa, nag-ausap kami sa telepono. Pero this was 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Yun po. As to coordination, wala.
Okay. Concern kayo ba personally? Do you think na may lalabas pang mga warrants in the next few months?
Well, the processes of the ICCs are unique talaga.
Totoo naman.
Kaya nga
And they don't actually announce publicly before yung actual
blessing in disguise nga si Senator Trillanes Kasi nung winawagayway na niya yung warrant, na-compel na yung ICC to reveal it, di ba? So blessing in disguise sa amin yun. Kasi, alam mo, pumunta pa ako sa ICC to find ways sana to confirm.
Sa Dahig?
4 months ago. Pero blessing in disguise, nabuntis ko yung misis ko dahil doon. Di ba?
Ang bira talaga. Congratulations, Atty. Torreon. Sa Binyag. Atin ako dyan, ha? Atty. Torreon, punta ako sa Binyag, ha? Kahit hindi ako ibutado. Makikikain lang ako.
So,
Ang
yung
bira.
pagwagayway ni Senator Trillanes, saved me a lot of money in going to ICC to secure confirmation. Kasi may confirmation na kayo. At least alam na namin ngayon, in the past, yung ICC spokesman, we do not have any warrant of arrest.
Dapat pala tayo ba i-treat niyo si Senator Trillanes?
Oo nga, dapat kung magkita kami ni Senator Trillanes talaga, sir, salamat talaga, sir, kasi na-confirm mo na ang mahal-mahal pa naman ang ticket, uutang pa kami para makabayad na punta doon. So, salamat talaga, sir. Treat tayo, sir, dito. Hindi naman kailangan mag-away kung nasa kabilang kampo kayo. You can always politely and intelligently agree to disagree. Ganun lang ako Nakita lang kami ni Atty. Ibanez noon. Kasama kami niyan noon. Kasi kay Frank Chavez, akong ginagamit niya noon na lawyer doon sa Mindanao. Si Atty. Ibanez, di ba, rabid talaga, anti-Duterte yan. Nagkita kami kahapon kasi may cross-examination nga po sa Manila. Nagkita kami, kumusta ka na? Kaibigan pa rin kami. And we always, that should be the spirit of Filipinos.
Actually, nag-agree ako sa inyo.
Kasi may mga punto rin kayo na kailangan din namin i-consider so that we can come up with a better policy for the country.
Sana nga makabalik tayo sa panahon na posibleng mag-disagree without being disagreeable.
Yes. So, yun ang pangarap ko sa Pilipinas. Kasi may mga bright ideas talaga si Atty. Barry na hindi ko rin nakikita. Kasi only a fool would believe that he is the mightiest and the brightest of them all, that you could not also pick good ideas from the other camp. And that's the beauty of democracy. It's the marketplace of ideas. And people like us should continually talk and continue to find ways as to how we can come up with a common stand for the betterment of our country. So yun sana ang ating mga, kumbinsin natin yung ating mga rabid followers to act like that. Kasi grabe na ang division ng ating country. Kailangan maging kaibigan tayo, boss, para ipakita natin doon sa ating mga followers na pwede naman pala magka-agree maski nasa opposite camp tayo.
Dapat nag-uusap pa rin.
Yun,
importante.
yun. Boss, usap tayo.
Okay, on that score,
Yes, sir.
bukod sa mga ICC cases, you've also filed several cases before the Supreme Court
Yes.
tungkol naman sa impeachment.
Yes, sir.
Ano po ang status nito mga ito?
Yung una, yung first impeachment complaint against kay VP Sara, pinagpala tayo ni Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nanalo kami. Dito naman sa itong second impeachment complaint against him, which involved the third and fourth impeachment complaint against him, against her rather, the Sabalya as well as the Cabrera complaint, pending pa po.
Okay.
Pending pa yon, and there are sub-issues which arose, the latest of which involved my very good friend, former Senate President Cesar Escudero, yung kanyang pag-preside sa Senado.
Yung designation as
yun,
presiding
designation.
officer.
We honestly believe that there is a justiciable issue there that might taint the entire proceedings. So we also filed a urgent manifestation with motion, and yun, pina-require na ata ng Supreme Court to comment yung Solicitor General dahil doon.
But of course, any petition filed by before the Supreme Court relating to impeachment, even in the past, diba, nagsimula sa Francisco versus House of Representatives,
Yes,
impeachment ni Chief Justice Davide, has always come up against the counter-argument na the Constitution vests the Senate and the House exclusive jurisdiction
Yes.
over these cases. So, anong inyong perspective on why the Supreme Court should be able to exercise their jurisdiction in these situations?
Well, expanded concept of
Judicial review.
judicial review, because even if we say that the Senate has the sole power under Article 11, Section 3.6 of the 1987 Constitution, that does not foreclose the fact that it only determines that the Senate is the court which tries impeachment cases.
Okay.
But as to whether or not it is exercised properly, it is exercised consensuously, it's still within the expanded jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Because indeed, any agency or court granted power may have the tendency to overstep its boundaries.
So, ito yung grave abuse of discretion.
Yan. And the Supreme Court would be there to allocate the constitutional boundary to say, up. Medyo sobra ka na, sobra ka na doon sa iayos mo, dito ka lang po pwede. Yun ang theory ko na bakit nag-file ako, maski kaibigan kami ni Senator Cheese. Wala pong personalan
hindi mo dapat personalan yun. Talaga namang issue-based.
Kasi when we looked at the, yung records ng Constitutional Commission, nandun talaga na-raise yung issue na yun. Sabi nila, at purely textual grounds, hindi naman nakasabay doon. Pero ang sabi ko naman doon, it is necessarily implied therefrom that if the respondent is not the President, then necessarily it is the Senate President who should preside.
Pero paano mangyayari yun, Atty. Babet? Let's say that the Supreme Court grants your petition, at least on that score, yung sa presiding officer. Does that render yung last, 4 weeks, 5 weeks,
I would
invalid?
like to believe so. I would like to believe so. It
So, paano mag-trial? Anong mangyayari?
Sa akin lang, no, this is treading on new grounds.
Exactly.
Treading on new grounds. Well, sa akin is any and all proceedings presided by the questionable presiding officer would be invalidated. It is as if yung parang nangyayari ba na yung judge pala, wala palang authority, di ba? Nagkakaroon ng mistrial talaga yun. Yung proceedings na yun. So, yun ang kinatatakutan ko. So, kung mag-trial naman lang kayo, ayusin ninyo. Nagpili kayo ng Senate President, hindi nyo pala yung interest. Ano pala siya dyan? Parang decoration? Huwag naman ganun. Insulto yung kay Senator Gatchalian. Pinili ninyo yan, then stand by your decision. Iba ang ginawa nila eh. So, I had to file a petition in order to correct the matter. If you have to go to trial, we are questioning your proceedings simply because of the fact that it was not properly instituted by the Committee on Justice, which conducted a mini trial, which conducted proceedings, which we believe are beyond its jurisdiction anymore. But granting ex argumenti gratia that you do have the power to initiate trial, do it properly. Yun ang message ko po. So, but alam mo naman, hindi naman ako Supreme Court Justice. We are, imploring. Yeah, we are imploring the good justices na sana naman ma-actionan and ma-decide in our favor.
Okay. Obviously, pag pinag-usapan ng impeachment, sabi nga, ang paborito kong definition dyan kay the late Senator Miriam Santiago, quasi-judicial and quasi-political.
Yes,
Kasi may
yes.
political aspect talaga. So a lot of people over the last few weeks have been obsessing about yung numbers. At ang obvious na division, current majority 13, current minority na nag-attend 8. Do you think na, yung 8 is enough to actually, under the current voting setup, is enough to acquit
Yes.
si VP Sara Duterte? Do you think na yung 8 na yun, meron pang bibigay doon to actually possibly join the majority to form a sufficient quorum for conviction?
Alam ko may alam ka. And you want it confirmed by me, no? May mga ugong-ugong na mga ganyan. I have to be honest with you nga eh. May mga ugong, but I'm praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala na hindi mag-give in sana.
Okay.
I have to be honest also. Party din ako sa mga usapin na ganyan. Pero sana hindi maging totoo.
Okay.
But I am certain and I am very sure na yung 16 na requirement of all members of the Senate is a Bible from which...
It's absolute.
It's absolute. Kasi framers of the 1987 Constitution made it that high requirement because we are talking here of high officials who can only be removed via impeachment. It's a difficult process, purposefully designed in order for these high offices, elected by, when it comes to VP Sara Duterte, 32 million people. And if you make the process very easy for her to be removed, you are actually spitting at the decision of 32 million people.
Okay.
So if you could not meet the high quantum of requirement, then manigas ka. Kasi 32 million yung boto sa kanya, hindi mo na-meet yung requirement, pasensyahan ka na. Ikaw nga, si Presidente Marcos, nag-file ng impeachment process, yung Committee on Justice, sabi, no sufficient form and substance. Sa tingin namin, may mga ultimate facts na doon, pwede na yun. Pero wala daw, may nagawa ba kami? Ang sa amin is, what is good for the gander should likewise be good for the goose. Hindi pumasa, then we accepted it. Dito, kung hindi kayo mag-aabot ng 16, manigas ka. Yun ang requirement. Wag mo naman ipababa na yung ibang mga legal experts natin. Well, we should follow the US Supreme Court. Dito tumira ka doon sa Amerika kung gusto mo. Iba yung sa atin eh. Strict yung requirement eh. Bakit mo kumbinsihin yung mga tao na pwede yung babae? That's intellectual dishonesty. Maski kaibigan ko siya, pare naman, ikaw naman. Magkaiba yung ating political stand. Ibahin mo yung framer sa yung intention ng 1987 ko. Huwag naman ganyan. Sobra na yan.
Pero paano yung practical consideration,
Yes.
Atty. Bobet? There are at least 5, I think, members of the current Senate minority who can possibly face cases
Yes.
before various bodies, ombudsman, etc. Kung mapapailan sila and they're charged with, let's say, non-bailable offenses, therefore, di sila makaka-attend ng Senate, paano yun? I mean, if it's no longer possible to get the 16 na 2/3 of 24, paano yung magiging process if so many are taken out?
Actually, it's an indictment against the present administration. Well, it's not only an indictment; it's a judgment already that they would go to the lowest extent just to crucify VP Sara Duterte, and it proves the strength of VP Sara Duterte that they should now wake up and realize na posibilidad talaga na maging presidente siya sa 2028. I would like to believe that these 5 strong men and women would face the music and they will act like the great Senator Marcoleta and face the case. And anyway, they would be acquitted, I'm very sure. There may be information that will be filed against them, but if there is going to be a trial, and at least it would have the appearances of a fair trial, I'm very sure that they will be acquitted. And I'm sure also that these 5 senators would face the music. Just because they are no longer there in the Senate. No? Kasi in the past, there were resolutions allowing the imprisoned senators to participate in the Senate proceedings. It was passed during the time of Brillanes, although not so implemented. It was likewise passed during the time of Senator De Lima, but later on it was not implemented. But the fact is, there were resolutions in the past allowing that. I would like to believe na sana i-allow yan, but if ever hindi i-allow yan, that would not reduce the fact na 16 pa rin ang requirement. So kung 13 na lang sila, manigas sila. Kasi kung 13 na lang kayo dyan nag-trial, parang tingin ng mga majority ng mga tao niyan, para na lang yung lesser pa ng, ng muro-muro trial.
So initially,
Sa bagay, totoo naman yun. No? Kunyari, tanggalin nila si Cayetano, kinulong si Ligarda, Wala na rin si Pia Cayetano. Ano nang mangyayari diyan sa diyan sa trial, di ba? Impeachment trial. Wala na. Ngayon pa nga lang wala nang gustong manood pagka nagsalita na itong si Risa Hontiveros at Kiko Pangilinan tapos sasabayan pa ni Escalera, nag-aalisan ng mga tao di ba? Paano na pagka tinanggal yung mga individual na hinihintay na magsalita diyan sa impeachment trial na yan. Anyway, abangan na lang natin ang mga susunod na kaganapan. As always, maraming salamat po sa pagsuporta sa PH Update. Mag-ingat po kayo lahat. Mahal natin Pilipinas.